Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you the DNA ancestry result of 14 Tutsis. That's like including me, so basically 13. So those are like my matches and they have names of in Kinyarwanda names. So I'm gonna hide their identity for confidentiality. So basically I'm not going to show their name, but I'm gonna show their result. So and then I was comparing my result and their result. My result is gonna be on left, and for each person, for all those 13 people, so I'm gonna show the pictures and it's gonna have my result on left and theirs on right. So that's what I'm going to show you. So basically I'm gonna focus on the Horn of Africa. So I'm just connecting the Tutsis with the Horn Africans, the Somalis, the Ethiopians, the Eritreans. That's all I'm doing for this video. And then later on I'm gonna connect the Tutsi and ancient Cushites long before the King Solomon. So but that's another video, and then which is gonna be part of this video. So for now, let's just connect the Tutsis with the Horn Africans, Somalis, Ethiopians, Eritreans. That's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm gonna show you 14 people, DNA result of 14 Tutsis, and we just look for the Horn Africans connection. They all have the Bantu, Eastern Bantu. They all have all that, but we're gonna focus on just the Ethiopian. So the first picture, this one has 27% Eastern Bantu, 25% Ethiopian, 21 Southern Eastern African hunter-gatherers, 11% Congo Bantu, and then he has 16% Somali. This is the highest Somali I've seen, 16%. So 16%, 25 Ethiopian. And then this one, he has 26 Ethiopian percent. And let's see how much Somali he has. %13 Somali. So he has 13% Somali. And then next one, 32% Eastern Bantu, 28 Ethiopia, Eritrea, and then 16% hunter-gatherers, 8% Cameroon Congo Bantu, and 16% Somali. One of the highest percentage of Somali, 16. And then the next one is 25% Ethiopian, 13% Southern Eastern African hunter-gatherers, 14% Cameroon Congo Bantu, and 5% Somali. And then this one, 28 Eastern Bantu, 32 Ethiopian percent, 32. This is the highest Ethiopian Eritrean I've seen. So, and then 19 Eastern African hunter-gatherers, 12% Congo Bantu, and 90% Somali. So 32% Ethiopian, 90% Somali. That's 41% on Africans. So the next one is 25% Eastern Bantu, 31% Ethiopian. This is high again. And let's see how much Somalis this one has. Congo Bantu 6%. Somalia 10%. That's 41, just like the other one. And the next one, 31 Eastern Bantu, 22 Ethiopia, Eritrea, hunter-gatherers 21, 14% Congo Bantu, and Somalia 12%. Let's see the next one. Congo Bantu 30%, Eastern Bantu 23% Ethiopia, Eritrea, and 21 hunter-gatherers, 24. Let's see, 5% Cameroon, Congo, and 18% Somali. That's huge. That's the most Somali I've seen. 18%. So 90% Eastern Bantu people, 25% Ethiopia, Eritrea, 15% hunter-gatherers, and 11% Congo Bantu, and Somalia 10%. So that's the average is pretty much about 40% Horn Africans. Let's see the next one. The next one, 32% Eastern Bantu, 29% Ethiopia, Eritrea. That's high. 29. I have 28. 21% Southern Eastern hunter-gatherers, Bantu, Congo Bantu 8%, and 10% Somalia, ancient Somalis, and the next one, 39% Eastern Bantu, 25% Ethiopia, Eritrea, 14% hunter-gatherers. Congo Bantu is 90%, and Somalia 13%. Let's see the next one. The next one, 27 Eastern Bantu, 21 Ethiopia, Eritrea, 28 hunter-gatherers, and 8% Congo Bantu, Southern Bantu, and then Somalia 16%, second highest, 16. The highest Somali is 18 so far. Let's keep watching and seeing this. 35 Eastern Bantu, 25 Ethiopia, and 14 hunter-gatherers, 14%, and Congo Bantu 12%, and the Somali 14%. So second. Ethnicity, 36 Eastern Bantu, 22 Ethiopia, Eritrea, 19% hunter-gatherers, Cameroon 7%, and then Somali 14%. That's huge. Somali we have 15, 18, and we're talking about thousands of years. So the orange map you see, the Kush, that is the ancient land of Cush, which is mentioned in the Bible so many times. So the ancient Cush, are the actual ancient people mentioned in the Bible as Cushites, including Moses' wife, including the Zephaniah one of the book of Zephaniah. So those guys, they've been with the Jews. They are Jews and they are Cushites, just like other Jews. So now I'm going to connect the Cushites with the Jews, because we had already connected the Tutsis with the Cushites. So the Somalis, the Ethiopians, Eritreans, all those guys, they are Cushites. They are ancient Jews from ancient Cushites. So, but let me explain again the Tutsi, the word Tutsi. The word Tutsi comes from the word Kush, Kushi. So even in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 1, it introduces him as son of Cushi, So, but I'm going to explain more with verses from the Old Testament. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to connect the Tutsis with the ancient Cushites, who are also Jews, just like other Jews from the Middle East. So let's start. So basically the Cush is son of Ham. Ham, one of the Noah's son. So that Genesis 10:6. So that's how the name Cush come from. So basically you see the Egypt there, you see Canaan, the Canaanites. So all the same people. And that's how the Cush came. So they always know about God just like everybody else, because they were also children of Noah. Now let's continue. One thing I need to clarify is that the Tutsis don't have the same claim as Ethiopian of King Solomon and Queen Sheba and all that kind of story, which is true. Maybe it might be possible too, but the Tutsis point of view is that the history predates the Hebrew, the King Solomon. So it's ancient Israelis, ancient Jews in Egypt, way before King Solomon. That's the views of the Tutsis. So way before King Solomon. And that's why it's kind of difficult to bring this together. So that is the point of view. Now let's continue exploring the Tutsi and the ancient Cushite. So the book of Numbers chapter 12 verses 1, it says Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. So this is clear that Moses' wife was Cushite, from Cush. You all saw the map of the Cush. So they were talking about how he had married a Cushite. So this is another proof, but because the Cushites, they lived in the Middle East as well. It's not like it was somebody from Africa very far. No, Moses met his wife in the land of Midian, which is northern western Saudi Arabia. So that is some connection. So those are the people of ancient Cushites mentioned in the Bible. The same people from the Horn of Africa who also lived in the Middle East. Till today, you see Somali people in Yemen. They are Yemenis, not like from Somalia. They are originally from there. So we still have Cushites in the Middle East till today. Let's continue exploring this. Another scriptures from Old Testament is that the book of Zephaniah chapter 3 verses 10, it says, From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshippers, my scattered people, will bring offerings. From the rivers of Cush, my worshippers, my scattered people. So basically, it's talking about the Jewish people who are Cushites, same time Jews, just like other Jews who live in the Middle East, Egypt, Israel, the whole area. So it's all the same group of people. There might be different skin color, there might be Middle Easterners, others black, but again, it's the same people, you know. So they're all Jews. That is the point, you know. Again, there's Zephaniah himself, the author of this book, himself is a Cushite, you know, just like I've told you guys. So this is another connection with Cushites and Jews. So let's look the next one. So another way to connect the Tutsis and ancient Cushites is that Exodus 18, from 18 and 19, verses 19, it talks about how Jethro, a Cushite man, Moses' father-in-law, how was teaching Moses how to govern his people after they after they left Egypt. He was teaching them how he needed to lead people. Again, this is a Cushite man, his father-in-law. So the way he was teaching him is exactly how the Tutsis, they governed themselves before the arrival of Europeans. So, you know, we had king, governors, people who look in the area, like 100 people, you know. So it was the same system that we already have. And when the Europeans came, Rwanda had a government already. They had everything, soldiers, generals, schools, everything was in place. So, and if you see Rwanda being a very tiny country, that's because they were very intelligent people, and the Europeans wanted to explore the area to steal from people the wealth, the minerals, whatever. So they wanted to give them a tiny country, so that because they knew they were unable to control them. You know, way before the independence, one of the Rwandan king went to the United Nations to accuse Belgium for human rights violation, killing Rwandan people. You know, so they were people who were fighters. So, and the kingdoms was not just like there's tiny Rwanda, Burundi. You know, Western Tanzania, there's a huge tribe also called Ha people, which is a Hutu. In the same area where the whole Western Tanzania was inhabited by both Hutus and Tutsis who speak same language, which is like similar to Kirundi. So those guys, they're still there. They're called the Ha people of Western Tanzania, Kigoma, and they used to live with the Tutsis in ancient times. And some of the Banyamulenge are also from Tanzania, from the same area. So it was a huge, massive kingdom established by Cushites of southern Kush. So also, Eastern DRC, places like Rushuru, that's like in North Kivu province. That name is in Kinyarwanda, and to ancient name, always like that with that name. It's not like some immigrants came to the area. So that was also because the kingdom of Rwanda reaches all the way there. Even the meaning of the word Rwanda means a massive land. You know, that's the meaning of the word Rwanda. It's not like, so it means a huge land, because even the kings, they were not sure at the end of the kingdoms. It was huge. That's why they named the country Rwanda. Urwanda, Nurwanda, Urugari. So that is how things were. So, and that's why, so this is the connection. This leadership is exactly as ancient Cushites mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament. Now, let's continue. Another connection with the Tutsi culture is in Deuteronomy 7:3. So it talks about how how God instructed his people to not marry from non-Jews. So basically the same thing, the Tutsis do not marry from non-Tutsis. This is the same thing in Somalia, same thing in Eritrea, Ethiopia. So basically, you try to marry someone outside your Tutsi. So that those guys, they don't mind if you marry a Tutsi from Ethiopia, from Eritrea, from Somalia. They don't mind. But outside their group, it doesn't matter who. Outside their group, it's very, very bad idea. You might get killed just for that. So this is another connection how they avoid remarrying from outside. I know as you saw my results and my many Tutsis, we had a lot of mixed, but it's not a lot. We still have like 40-50% of Horn Africans, despite have been separated for thousands of years. This culture is very, very, very interesting. So there's not that many minority people will survive. Tutsis are a minority in Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, Tanzania, Uganda. We are very, very minority, but how we manage to survive, still have that in our blood, is because of this culture. Do not marry from outsiders. Do not marry from, same thing in the Horn of Africa. That's the culture. That's how they practice things. So, and we see this again in Old Testament, Deuteronomy 7:3. So how people were instructed not to marry outside their group. So let's continue. I can go on and on connecting the Cushites with the Tutsis, but there's so much evidence. There's so many more, many. But let's stop right here. Let's look at this picture. The people on the left with red and green, the drums on top, they had, those are Burundian drums. Those are traditional drums. And then on the right, those are Ethiopian Orthodox. So you can see at some point those two people, they have same ancient culture. They have connection. So those are the drums. Those are the Tutsi influences. You go to Eastern DRC, you don't see other tribes having big drums playing those. It's only those areas where the Tutsis live. But again, this is Tutsi and the Hutu, they all practice. Rwandan, Burundian, they all practice this culture of drums, beating drums, which is very, very similar to big drums, just like the one you see on Ethiopian Orthodox. So I've been into Eritrean church Orthodox churches here in America. I went to Ethiopia to visit. So basically, things I'm saying and connection and being a Tutsi, all those things, they make a much sense. And it's not just me. Most Tutsis, they all know this. It's like political reason they cannot reveal all those information because it can divide people, cause tension. As you know, in the genocide in Rwanda, the Tutsis were killed because the Hutu, they claim that they are not fully Rwandan. They need to go back to Ethiopia, even though there's no evidence. I don't know how people can keep all these things. Now, even we're doing the DNA test, it is proving that we actually came from the Horn of Africa, but it's like more than 1,000 years. It's a long time. But the fact that people keep remembering, keep passing this from one generation to another, it's just unbelievable. I don't know how to describe this thing. So this is the connection with Tutsis and Cushites, and they are all the same people. They are way more evidence. I didn't even put much time trying to collect everything because it's so there are so many. The evidence are so many to connect the Horn Africans and the Tutsis. Not just the DNA, not just culture. It's so much. Even the ancient Torah, the Old Testament. So it's a lot of information. But let's stop right here. And again, me calling the Tutsis Jews does not mean all the Tutsis, they have to be Israeli supporters and all those, I don't want to deal with those politics, because the Palestinians as well, they are just as, they are descendants of Abraham, just like the Jews. So for me, I personally think Palestinians are oppressed and they need the basic rights, just like Jews. That's my views. Again, that's how I see things. We are all the same people. The religion might be different, but again, that before Islam, Christianity, we were all Jews. We all practice Judaism. All the Afro-Asiatic speakers, Somalis, Ethiopians, Eritreans, at some point we did practice Judaism. we did practice, we did Torah. So those are my connection. Those are the connections I try to put together, and I don't mean for any political, any problems dividing people, anything like that. As you can see, everything is not just from my head, it's from different sources. We just put stuff together. That's what I have for today, and enjoy. I'm glad. Thank you for being with us, and let me know, leave your comment and subscribe. Keep teaching me, because I learn from your comments. All the comments I read, you don't have to agree with this, but leave your comments, provide more information, insights, because we all learn from one another. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful time, wherever you are. Thank you so much. Bye bye.